Well, Katie, thanks very much for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you. Good to be here.
It's good talking with you as well. You've got a piece at The Hill. Yes, Obama does want to take your guns. Quoting the president, said, somebody somewhere will comment and say Obama politicized this issue. Well, this is something he said we should politicize. Said that hours after these murders had occurred, before we knew the names of the victims, before we knew the name of the perpetrator, really before we knew anything at all, even how many people had been injured, how many lives had been affected. The president threw open the door and said, yep, we should be politicizing things like this right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my piece in The Hill is titled that way because it's true. I mean, a lot of the time from the left and from gun control advocates, what you'll hear is, look, no one's coming for your guns. Stop being so paranoid. No one's coming for your guns. But when you take a look at exactly what President Obama said last week, which is what I did, he argues that we need to change our gun laws in a modest way. Now, when you look at what he's proposing later in his quoting, when he says, we know that other countries, in response to one mass shooting, have been able to craft laws that almost eliminate mass shootings. Friends of ours, allies of ours, Great Britain, Australia, countries like ours, that's how we know how to change the laws. You have to take a look at, okay, he's suggesting we act like Great Britain and Australia. But when you look at what Great Britain and Australia have done, they have banned handguns in those countries. So if President Obama is going to argue that we need to change the laws in a modest fashion and call on gun owners to have some kind of compromise, but then offer this intellectually dishonest argument that we don't want to ban your guns, you can still have your rights. Oh, but by the way, we need to be just like Great Britain and Australia, which is completely counter to the Second Amendment. He needs to be called out on it, because if that's what he's offering as a solution to what he thinks is a problem, then he needs to be honest in the fact that this would require mass confiscation, which is hardly moderate or modest.
Absolutely. There's no way that you can say we need, quote unquote, common sense regulation to respect the rights of gun owners, and then reference Britain and Australia.
Right.
Where, again, you were talking about a reduction. And the president even alluded to this. He said, we have nearly one gun for every man, woman, and child in this country. So what is the correct number then, I guess? I want, look, clearly, Katie, I don't agree with the president, but I would like some specifics. What is that correct number? If 300 million arms in the United States is too much, what is it, 150 million? What's the target number that we're talking? Is it zero? As the editorial page editor of the Washington Post has suggested, is it time for a gun-free society? And to that end, Hillary Clinton said at that fundraiser last week that the Supreme Court got it wrong on the Second Amendment. I wonder, Katie, is it time for Hillary Clinton and leaders within the Democratic Party to call for a platform, a plank that would call for the repeal of the Second Amendment?
I think they should. I think they should be honest about what they're coming from, what they're doing. I mean, we can look at what they say and read through the lines and do the research and reference what the president's saying when he says Australia, because, if you're not aware of what Australia or Great Britain have done, you might think that what they've done is common sense, because you don't know exactly what they've done. And what they have done is confiscation and an outright ban on guns in those countries. And it would be nice if the left and the Democrats could just be honest about it, but they won't, because they know it's a losing issue. So here we are once again with voters. They don't want to be honest about their true intentions. They want to take it, death by 1,000 cuts rather than all at once, because their real intent is to get to what you just said about the gun-free society, which, by the way, will never happen. But they want to do it in a way that is intellectually dishonest. And the president kind of showed his hand last week, I think, in that argument by referencing countries that have extreme gun control laws when he talks about how we need just some common sense, modest changes to ours.
But Katie, I also think it says something about the state of the gun control argument right now, that the president couldn't explain what exactly they did in Australia and what exactly they did in Great Britain, right? Couldn't lay that out as an example of common sense gun regulation, because the American public doesn't think that's common sense.
Right. Or modest, by the way.
Or modest, absolutely.
Let's see the different definition of modest. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So he makes these blanket statements, makes it seem like oh, the civilized countries of Australia and Great Britain and other countries like ours, that we're so similar that we should just automatically take that and not do our own research about what they've actually done in those countries. And we have to remember that, this column I wrote just isn't based, I only have 800 words here, but there's so much history with Barack Obama to back up this statement as well. I mean, not just his words from last week, but let's not forget that when he was in Chicago serving as a state senator, he voted against people being able to defend themselves against a violent attacker in their home with a firearm. I mean, that is who this guy is. He voted, he filled out a questionnaire at one point saying that he believed handguns should be banned. This is what he believes. He believes that you should have to turn in your guns. He believes that we should operate like Great Britain and Australia. And he has to do it under the guise of intellectual dishonesty because the rest of the country severely disagrees.
Talking with Katie Pavlich from townhall.com. And Katie, we are, I think, seeing an interesting reaction to the president's comments, because even some individuals who would be in favor of gun control, Michael Gerson, I think, had a piece at the Washington Post today saying, listen, I'm in favor of all these gun control proposals that the president called for, but this statement where I think he called it a temper tantrum, said that it actually set back the cause of gun control.
Well, yeah, because he, again, came out within hours of this happening, and admittedly in his remarks says we don't know exactly why this happened. So he's admitting that A, he doesn't know how it happened. He's overtly and deliberately saying he wants to politicize this and that tragedies should be politicized. He's being honest there. And that comes off as really just raw and uncivilized and rude, and really looks like grave stomping, which is exactly what he's doing, and taking something that happened and using it for a political advantage at the exact right time. And his allies in the gun control industry, backed him right up. I got an email yesterday from Everytown with this extensive 13-page report about the executive actions that President Obama could take tomorrow to solve this problem without Congress. And it's this very nice laid out report. And I guarantee you there wasn't someone who just worked on that over the weekend to produce it on Monday. They had that ready to go. So as soon as the next tragedy hit, that they could get that out the door. And it's a shame.
Absolutely is. Katie, listen, I appreciate you coming on the program. It is always a pleasure to get a chance to talk with you, and hope we can do it again very soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Katie Pavlich from townhall.com here with us on NRA News, Cam and Company.